Hello, hockey fans of all ages, shapes, and sizes. I'm recording this in the second intermission of the Leafs-Bruins game. Just a note to start off, ex-Maple Leaf Freddie Anderson made an absolute bank robbery of save on Noah Dobson, which probably saved that game. It probably, if he scored there, it could have gone to the Isles. The first period of the Leafs-Bruins, so intense. I mean, I have a feeling that the Leafs coming in off the road, fully amped up, ready to hit. There's this home advantage that Boston's obviously got with the home cooking and all that. These guys are in the hotel, they're away from home, they're not fully rested, being on flights and all that. So there's a massive energy dump I feel is taking effect right now, and I hope I'm right for game two. I wrote down a bunch of notes on this game. So Wendell Clark was on Real Kipper and Bourne. Awesome interview. He said something about the five of diamonds. So one thing I've noted that the Leafs guys are really afraid to get to that five of diamonds, or just like I call it, the middle of the ice in front of the net. I love that term though, by the way. I'll try to start using it more. I notice all the Leafs are button hooking away towards the boards instead of, even if you feel like the defenseman, I know the Bruins D are really good at stifling your plays, and there hasn't been a lot of offensive zone time for the Leafs. They've been just kind of dumping it off the boards, and like the one thing I touched on was that Maroon play where Reavo sandwiched them, and I touched on that before, where if you miss a hit, he didn't really miss, but it was like a 2-on-1 sandwich instead, and that led to the 2-on-1, right? And Sammy, obviously, like as I talked about, you let in the first shot, man, and I know it's not your fault, but those kind of things are like huge, huge energy dumps that your team just tires are deflated after that. And mind you, it's like I said, it's not really his fault. It was a 2-on-1. It was a great, cross body shot from, I think, Beecher or whatever. And, he went against the grain, which, obviously Sammy probably thought, hey, he's going to shoot to the, like a lefty's going to shoot to my right-hand blocker side, right? So beautiful shot placement right under the blocker. Now, I wanted to talk about that as well, too. All the Leaf shots are like 2 inches off the ice, and Swayman's an amazing butterfly goalie. So you got to get those shots like 2 feet off the ice, underneath the blocker, over the pad, under the blocker, or under the glove. And Matthews is a champion at that. The Leafs had a lot of chances right in the beginning, and even though Reavo was responsible for that 2-on-1, I really like he seems to have the most legs. He's not afraid to cut to the middle of the ice, where a lot of the other Leafs are just turning away towards the boards. He's like dumping pucks, chipping pucks into the center towards the goalie and chasing it down, getting a few shots. Like, I think he's been one of their better offensive players. So with that said, Pontus Holmberg and Dewar look completely lost out there, out of their depth. They have no idea what's going on. They're just kind of looking at the stars right now. I would, the Willie at center experiment, I would say, or the Tavares third line center experiment, I would put Tavares between Jarny and Robertson for the next game. And I would put Willie on the second line as center between Marner and Knies. And I know, like, Knies, I think he can play center. I don't think he's a winger by trade. And just like put Willie and Marner, like two world-class wingers, in between Knies, and like, holy crap, what could happen there? Because like another thing too, Bruins are playing amazing. They're like, oh, their stupid Bruins like song. It's so, as Sammy McKee touched on, it's so effing annoying going into that rink. The home crowd, like Boston Original Six, like they have the best fans in the world. Shout out Malore. What's up, buddy? I know we'll be talking in WhatsApp chat later, chirping each other. The Leafs look okay. I mean, I notice everything. Like they're going to the soft area. They're going to the soft areas of the ice, button hooking towards the corners. They're kind of dumping passes back. they're not charging the net enough. And I know, like, if you look at quality, quality chances, etc., there's stats on that, like, high danger chances, etc. Maybe they're looking for the perfect pass. I think this is kind of like a nerves thing where the whole team has just energy dumped. They scored on the first shot, like I said in my last vlog, etc., and like missing a hit. Reavo didn't really miss it, but leads to a 2-on-1. They score. So yeah, like I'm not putting Reavo under the bus. I think he's honestly skating really hard. He's hitting. He's doing his job. And game one is putting the fear of God in your opponent. And these types of hits are going to pay dividends in game five, in my opinion. So I think like the point of game one is to establish physical dominance over your opponent. And obviously, like the talent of the Bruins and the home, all the bounces and stuff, like, off the boards, they're in their home barn and it's loud and the fans are going berserk. It's obviously they're just riding the wave, so to speak. So, what else? Yeah, so it's like Dewar and I'm pulling Dewar and Pontus Holmberg out, and I'm trying that Tavares third line thing again. Because his speed is not there. Obviously, Tavares, he's doing really good as in the bumper position, in the middle, like on the power play. I thought he did great. Like, that's the thing too. Like Matthews, I do sense this with him. He's awesome, man. Like he is gripping the stick too tight as far as like, just use your gift, man. Shoot the damn puck as many times as you can and shoot high blocker on Swayman. Now, mind you, if the Bruins stick to their word, and all this stuff of like shooting 2 inches off the ice and Swayman butterfly, it might not even matter if they start Allmark. I can't imagine if Swayman pitches a shutout that they start Allmark, but maybe they stick to their word and the Leafs can split the series, But this game's done and dusted. I think, like I said, you've established some physical domination. I wanted to touch as well on Domi. I think he's definitely, I'm excited on how he's playing. He's sending a loud and clear message to Marchand to take him out of the series by slashing. I think he's riding the line pretty well. I think some of the stuff is, it is a bit dirty, but like, hey, you know what? Like some of these guys like Marchand use their mouth, and, if you slash them on the wrist or the back of the legs, it is dirty, but Marchand has a dirty rat mouth. So, it's like sometimes he gets what he deserves there. And it looks like he's a bit out of the game now. Like I said, I'd pull Matthews and them. Like I'm definitely doing line changes to get away from that Coyle Marchand checking line at home back in Leafs territory. So that'll be good for those home games. And I don't care what people say. The Leafs are generally pretty terrible at home. They're a road team, whatever. The playoffs is different. The Leafs, I think, if they're going to make it a 7-game series, they got to win both those games at home for sure. Because obviously the Bruins have taken this game and split at the worst. Even if you go down 0-2, you can still bring in some of those matchups and get away from some of those matchups at home. And then it's down to Keefe. I think, like I don't want to talk about what's going to happen after if I'm not losing my mind here. The Leafs are going down 4 straight. Like it's not going to happen. I don't think. The Leafs look pretty good. They look like energy dumped. They look like very nervous, out of gas. From nerves can really amp you up in the first period. I thought they had a pretty good first period. And they just look flat now. So what's the last thing? Oh yeah, so the last thing I wanted to mention was Gio in the defense of the Leafs. So I don't know what his status is. He has such a calming energy. I would say with the Leafs, like get amped up inside, but like do yoga in the morning or something to like calm your nerves. They do look like they have a lot of nervous energy. And I said keep it tight, but there's a such thing as like keep it tight with confidence, or keep it tight with nerves is like too tight. You're afraid to do things. You're afraid to like dump pucks towards the net and go and, crash the net and stuff. I do like Dewar's snow shower on Swayman. He kind of laughed it off and got buried in the net or whatever. But I still think like Noah Gregor's a pure goal scorer. And that guy, like, towards the known entity thing, right? It's like Gregor's a known entity. We know what we got with him. He obviously hasn't got as many goals, but like I saw him on the San Jose Sharks. He has pure goal scorer talent. That guy can score hat tricks if you put him with the right people. Like hell, put him with, if they're checking the shit out of the Matthews line, put him up with Matthews, and like he'll go bang some bodies. And if they feel like they got to move Bert down with like Willie and Tavares, like that line worked really well. Put Marner between Yarncroc and Knies, or maybe Knies on in center, on like something like that. So the Leafs have a lot of options for game 2. I think this series really revolves around Keefe and his job, because it's up to him to be creative with the lines. I think he's done a great job this whole year coaching. He's an excellent coach, and I think sometimes he's just afraid to do things because the egos, the top 4 or top 5 core guys or whatever. I think sometimes, and you know what, maybe I'm wrong with this, because if Nylander's sitting because of an attitude adjustment issue, he's going to be a wild card like next game. But I think that can add a variety of different things. Like I said, you could put him up on the second line and move Tavares back or whatever. Like, you got so many different options with the depth scoring. And I've always believed that line 3 is the key for any playoff series. Lines 3 and 4, the muckers and grinders, as I called them in other episodes. It's just those are the kind of guys that win playoff series, because you got your high checking against Matthews, and if those guys start producing, they start pulling away from their checking lines, you get back to Matthews scoring in bunches, like he did in the regular season. So I think like Gio, I hope he's back. I would put Lily looks like he's the best puck mover on the Leafs. I don't know what the situation with Timmins. Like, I loved him in the regular season, but he got injured, and I don't think he's in the coach's good books or something, or a lot of people's good books. I always thought he's a great power play type defenseman, and he would go really good with Morgan Riley, but I don't know. I just think they're afraid to pull that trigger. They just, maybe he's played himself out of that role or spot based on after his injury or whatever, he didn't come back as strong. So great preseason, just gone to waste. And, I think with Gio, or I would say probably put in TJ Brody instead of Lily next game. No offense to Lily. It's just like, I think Boston, the Leafs aren't having any trouble breaking it out of their own end. So I would say like a team like Florida, you definitely need a Lily that's like heavy on defense and just zone pressure and dump and chase. But like a team like Boston that plays off the rush, the Leafs are having no problem breaking out. So I think like a guy like Gio, and I like Edmondson, even though he was pinched up for that one goal, which, the all the legends on TNT or whatever are talking about that kind of, maybe he made a mistake there. And like Reavo, he was part of that Patrick Maroon sandwich. So I don't know. I think that Gio brings that calming presence, and the maturity can kind of like amp them down. And like you want to keep it tight, but not wound too tight, right? You want to just play by instincts. Like, these guys are pros. They know what to do. And when they're wrapped too tight or they're trying to do too much, it's just like, by keeping it tight, what I mean is play your position, play your role, let chances come to you, right? And break into that 5 of diamonds that Wendell Clark talked about, because they have to get more net front presence, and they need a crummy goal to get Swayman off his game. And Swayman, high blocker, that's my read on him. So Matthews, do your thing, man. If they keep playing Swayman, just bury it high blocker on him, and you're gold. I think he already hit the post almost scored a few times already. So Matthews can throw that big body around. He's throwing kind of butt checks or hip checks. He's a big man, and like, he could surprise guys with his physicality too, and to kind of get that room that Gretzky always had, right? So anyways, that's it for now, I think. Go Leafs go. Just water off a duck's back, thick skin on this one. Do that yoga tomorrow morning. Play the tunes, get focused, keep it tight, but not too tight. Not tight, nervous. tight confidence. And we'll see what happens if they can come away with a split. So Bruins look damn good though, man. I knew this was going to be a tough series, and I'll admit I have seeds of doubt from the way that the Leafs are playing now. But, prove me wrong. Prove everybody wrong. Slay the dragon. Peace.